that are out there. Oh, go ahead.
Hello. When you listed the methods for that string, I noticed a Pascal case method called switch to mutable. I wonder what it does, because .NET strings are supposed to be immutable, and if that method actually does something interesting.
It's just for interacting with the CLR. So right, it is. I don't know exactly what that does, and of course Jimmy just walked out, but that is probably only there for the .NET integration, because that's certainly not a core part of the string class. So I would imagine that that's ability. So a lot of times whenever you're taking Ruby code and you're interacting with .NET libraries, sometimes you have to effectively say, I want to take this Ruby string and convert it to a CLR string. Right. And so that is a common thing that you end up doing when methods are picky about it. You can convert it to a CLR string and then pass that over to the CLR.
Right. I was just wondering if that actually makes the string mutable or not, which would be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, just a couple of quick ones, but you mentioned that there was a startup penalty for IronRuby. Can that be offloaded to program startup?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, so is there IronRuby support in like Visual Studio? Do you guys have any templates, IntelliSense, coloring, anything like that for Visual Studio for IronRuby?
So not in 2008. But in 2010, they're working on providing the IntelliSense and things like that for it. So IntelliSense is a tricky thing with dynamic languages, because there is one called, there's a couple of IDEs, Ruby IDEs that are out there that are providing IntelliSense support. It's a very tricky thing when you start talking about what it is that you're doing. So yeah.
All right. Oh, actually, one other one.
Sure.
Is obviously being able to access your program in the way that you described. You kind of mentioned there were some security risks involved. Are there ways to limit what classes or not what classes, because you have to provide the classes if I'm not mistaken through
right.
But what, like, are there ways to limit what methods or limit properties?
So you can't do anything in Ruby that you can't do in .NET. So that, just to be clear about that, it's not like there's some magical ability that it gives to you. Everything still goes to the CLR, and all of the CLR security methods still come into play as part of it. When you're hosting the code, it only has access to the objects that you give to it in the hosting model.
Yeah, hi. Just wondering where IronRuby is with respect to the Ruby 3.0 with the convergence with MERB.
The Rails 3.0 stuff.
Yeah.
So what Jimmy said was that they are running all of the Rails 3.0 tests, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's working well. But right now IronRuby is passing all of the Rails 3.0 tests.
Okay. And second question is just I saw your Twitter app that you've written. Just kind of wondering is there like almost like a template for building Twitter apps? There's so many of them.
That Twitter app took me all of about 15 minutes to write. So It was. Twitter makes it dead simple to pull in JSON or XML and just parse it.
Okay. So quick third one. If you were to write that with MVC.NET, the latest MVC 2.0,
yeah, right.
How long do you think that would take you compared with writing it in Ruby?
So I'm not going to touch that because it all depends on what you want access to. So if you're talking about Ruby on Rails versus ASP.NET MVC, it all depends on what you want to have access to.
Just say a simple fire and forget app.
So it depends on if you have Visual Studio installed. So if you have Ruby installed, you can just say Rails and the name of it, and it generates a Rails app, and you can script server and start it up. With Visual Studio, you say new ASP.NET MVC project, and you hit run, build and run, and it runs it. So if you're just talking about something simple, they're probably about the same.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Did you have a question? Or did it get answered? Yes? So the question is if Rails is supported? Yes, Rails is supported. So the iRack that you saw helps run Rails on IIS. Sure. No, it's packaged. So the question is, does the user have to install Ruby? They don't. It's packaged as part of your ZAP file that comes down. Okay? Well, thank you for your time. If you're interested in one of these IronRuby books, and do that. do the feedback thing. Fill out one of the forms, give it to the back. It's a great way to let us know how everything went. So thank you very much. Have a great day.